Ladders are one of, if not the most annoying things in Valheim, being terribly slow to climb. Fortunately, these two ladder designs will solve your ladder woes, and in this video, I'll share those as well as solve 31 more of the most annoying things in Valheim. Landing in the 10th world, your first annoying encounter will likely be the Greyling. While somewhat of a threat in the early game, they never learn to fear you despite your growing strength and the more annoying they become. Fortunately, these sprites fear fire, so keep them at bay by placing a campfire or arm yourself with a torch. Soon you will learn the importance of stamina regeneration, which makes the unfortunate applied wetness of slipping into a puddle incredibly annoying. However, you can quickly rid yourself of the wet debuff by placing a nearby fire to reduce the debuff timer. If your armor is low enough, you can accelerate this by lighting yourself ablaze. The late game does provide an even better tool to prevent wetness, but we will cover that in a later solution. Of course, the opposite can also be annoying when you accidentally step on your own fire. To remove the fire ticks, hop into the nearest ocean to immediately put out the flame. Water also has a habit of swallowing up your valuable items. If shallow enough, they can be saved in two ways. 1. Grab your hoe and raise the earth below the item. It may disappear for a moment, but will return at the peak of the raised earth, and is only the first of many times the hoe will come in handy in this video. 2nd, build a ladder to elevate yourself above your submerged item. Falling from a greater height will allow you to dive deeper and grab your misplaced drop. But be careful not to drown, as retrieving a body at sea can be a hassle. Fortunately, the Bogwitch update released a new mead in the Drought of Vanadir that reduces your stamina usage while swimming, lessening the prospect of death by drowning. As a rite of passage, most Vikings have succumbed to a falling tree at some point or another, which can be both annoying and, let's be honest, pretty embarrassing. Unfortunately, I don't have a good solution to this one. Just pay attention, silly. While woodcutting, you soon will become encumbered, made obvious by the obnoxious tuba playing. Just kidding. This is a hilarious mod made by Goat Horse that you should consider checking out. I'll be referencing a few mods in this video, and I'll make sure to include links for them in the video description. Fortunately, Valheim provides many ways to increase weight capacity these days with a new mead and Forsaken Power in the game's most recent updates. First, of course, make sure you get the Messingjord belt from Haldor, but as mentioned, craft the mead of Troll Endurance, granting a massive plus 250 to your strength, or pop Vader's Forsaken Power for another 300. With the belt, power, and mead combined, you can now carry a staggering 1000 weight that is still no match for the almighty Tuba Walk. Jokes aside, your newfound strength will come in handy in the never-ending conquest for iron. You can combine the previous tip with changing both the resource drop rate and portal behavior world modifiers to both increase iron scrap drop rate and allow transport through portals. No more long boat rides, and remember, don't let anyone shame you for playing the game how you want to play it. While in the swamp, you will certainly feel the pain of the poison-dealing creatures within it. Poison meads aside, you can mitigate its damage with loading screens. When poisoned, step into a portal or dungeon, with portals certainly working best. While in the animation, you won't take damage, but your poison timer will continue to tick, saving you some extra health. The other huge source of pain is the constant rain and debilitating wet debuff. To this day, Valheim still does not have a rain jacket. Despite this, the Ashlands biome provides something that can help. In the swamp, build a shield generator and power it with bones. While inside its bubble, you are shielded by rain and therefore the wet debuff. An alternative to the weight strategies discussed earlier is of course the cart. But as most learn, they're difficult to pull at max capacity unless you're on perfectly flat terrain. In my experience, it's best not to fill the cart completely and flatten the earth along your path with a hoe before transporting your ore. As always, roll out of it when done, like a boss. Following a death and returning to your body, you can accidentally pick something up and therefore lose the capacity to retrieve your gear, putting you in a tricky situation. To avoid this, toggle off auto pickup before performing your death run. On PC, the default is the V key and will display on screen if auto pickup is on or off when pressed. Also, be prepared to grab your strength belt first and equip it before attempting to retrieve your body a second time. It's often the case where you won't be able to retrieve your corpse without the strength provided by the belt. Keep in mind too, that after you reclaim your gear, you get the corpse run effect for 50 seconds that increases your carrying capacity by 150. Be wary of picking up too many things while this is active, because you could become encumbered at an inconvenient time as the buff wears off. Sadly, each time you perish in Valheim, 5% of all your skill progress is lost. To reduce your suffering, turn down the penalty in your settings. Also, remember that after you die, you do receive skill loss protection for 10 minutes. Take advantage of this protection to risk the biscuit stress-free. Heading back to sea, nothing is more annoying in Valheim than hopping on your ship, only to find out the wind is the opposite direction you need to go. Now obviously, motor's power does solve this, but there is an alternative. Valheim's weather is set on a fixed schedule, so your best bet may be to sleep and hope the next day's wind is in a different direction, or check out this website to find out the wind direction for your planned travel day. While sailing, an unexpected serpent can really ruin your day. To reduce the chance of encountering one, do not sail at night or during rainstorms, where they most commonly spawn. Losing your spear with an errant toss or having your buddy pick it up in multiplayer plagues spear enjoyers like myself. There are few solutions to this, but if you are open to using mods in Valheim, check out Loyal Spears and Auto Pickup. With this mod, your friends cannot pick up your spear and it will be returned to you after 20 seconds if yeeted into the abyss. Spears too are especially bad when fighting with elevation changes. A common occurrence across Valheim's combat, as attacks often whiff when swinging at creatures above and below you. To help with this, level the terrain again with your hoe or lure your foe to flat ground. Speaking of elevation changes, climbing steep cliffs, especially in the mountains, can be exhausting and stamina draining. To stop and restore your stamina, use your hoe to create a divot in the cliff face, rest, and continue your climb. At the crest of the mountain, you will likely find frost caves containing Valheim's most annoying creature in bats. The best way to deal with them is often AoE, where weapons like the Akir's secondary attack can be used to quickly clear them out. Worse even is when you get a bat raid in your home where they immediately go after your livestock. To keep your animals safe, either build a roofed enclosure or put stakes at the crest of your walls where bats will pathfind their way to their own demise. The mountain slopes will also introduce a major threat in fall damage. In Valheim, keeping your health above 100 will keep you safe, as that is the max you can take, even if falling from the Yggdrasil tree itself. Alternatively, once you get to the Mistlands, craft the Feather Cape immediately for the Feather Fall effect and immunity to fall damage. Many of what we have covered thus far occur while adventuring, but there is no shortage of nuisances to be found at home, like being forced to click a million times at your smelter or kiln. You do have options to hold interact, but repeatedly clicking is slightly faster. The only solution I can offer with this one is the mod Azu Crafty Boxes, which allows you to fully fill both smelters and kilns with single clicks, but also draws materials from nearby ground or chests, amongst many other great features. Similarly, planting and picking crops can be another huge pain, but has improved since the Bogwitch update. First, a new farming skill was added to the game, which reduces the stamina you consume with the cultivator and offers a chance of bonus resources. Plus, a scythe can now be crafted following the purchase of the handle from the new NPC. If you do want to take your farming efficiency to an even higher level, mass farming is the mod for you. This allows you a grid to plant your crops faster, but also pick them, making for a much more efficient farming experience. And at the end of a long day, you surely want to get some rest. But of course, there is an enemy nearby. Instead of wasting your time seeking out and slaying the annoying Grey Dwarf, or many Grey Dwarf, you can always spam sleep at your bed, and after a few tries, you will still sleep despite the enemy presence. But of course, you awake to the giant footsteps of trolls from a troll raid. The troll and other raids can be one of the most disrupting and devastating events in Valheim, and the easiest solution is to step into your world modifiers and reduce their frequency or turn them off altogether. However, they don't pose much of a threat considering my base defenses, but more on that a little later. Which leads me to the spookiest and most unique raid, which is of course wolves. This raid is different in that it can only occur when you are not at your base where defenses can help you. Considering how lethal this can be, I have several solutions to offer. First, height advantage is always your friend, and if there is an object to hop on, like I did in my most recent stream in the Feeling Village, you should do so. Alternatively, having a hoe to raise the earth below your feet also works if no structures are nearby. Second is another I recently discovered is to use nearby environment to your advantage. By keeping a tar pit between you and the wolves, they will go for a long swim rather than attack you. Third, of course, is to lure them to opposing factions like a Feeling Village and watch the chaos ensue. But fourth and most powerful is to skip fighting bowmass altogether. You may have never noticed, but the Wolf Raid is only activated after you defeat the swamp's boss. Of course, this comes at a price, forgoing his Forsaken Power and Wishbone. Despite this, you can still find silver by slamming a two-handed hammer on the ground in search of the Too Hard text. Yes, this is extreme, but if you never want to encounter this raid, it works like a charm. Continuing to the plains, you have undoubtedly encountered the Deathsquito. These guys can really pack a punch, but there are two easy ways to counteract them. First is well known, but the Root Harness chest piece comes equipped with Pierce Resistance, which will nullify their piercing stings. Second and new to the game is the Anti-Sting Concoction, which when active will make it impossible for them to sting you. Tar 2 can be a huge pain in the butt, as surely you've found yourself with an item stuck in the sticky soup. The best way to deal with this, in my experience, is once again our trusty hoe. Raise the earth below your stuck item, and like in the water as we saw earlier, your item will rise to the top after a few moments. Further, while the common strategy for gathering tar is draining it with a big trench, I find raising the earth below it far more efficient, assuming you have the stone to do so. Moving into the Mistlands introduces one of the game's most hated mechanics in Mist. While things like the Wisp Light, Mist Walker, and Wisp Torches reduce it slightly, it can still be very difficult to see. This is once again where mods come to the rescue. These misty balls allows you to configure the range of your Wisp Light from the default of 6 meters to a max of 50, which is a welcome improvement. This increased range will surely help us capture the always avoidant hare. These pests are difficult to catch but will give us valuable resources. AoE works best, and I like to use ooze bombs to capture them early before transitioning to the Staff of Embers. The Ashlands gave us the Catapult, which has many fine uses, with its best launching players across the map, except when you put your favorite Mistwalker in it accidentally, only to watch it sail across the map. Unfortunately, I don't have a great solution for this one. And of course, ladders as promised can be annoying and slow to climb, but I have two incredible solutions thanks to Jirok the Viking himself. Check out his video for even more on ladders. First, we will double up on the basic ladder by placing a 1 meter horizontal and vertical beam to give us an intermediate snap point. From there, extend the ladders, overlapping them for a much smoother climbing experience. Second, instead of ladders, leverage 1x1 wall pieces stacked on top of each other. Unfortunately, you cannot take advantage of snap points here and will need to place your second wall piece flush with the first manually. From there, stack another on top and repeat the process however high you will like. To climb the ladder, sprint at it and spam jump to climb rapidly in Valheim's most space-efficient elevator. And as promised, use this new ladder design to get on top of your fortified walls in my video covering the optimal base defenses in Valheim.